call to order the Groveland Township regular board meeting for December 13th, 2021. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and please be seated. Okay, Janelle, could you please take roll call?
Yes, I would love to.
Okay.
Nicole,
Yes, I'm here.
yeah,
Yes, here.
Bill,
She's excused. She's still sick.
Christopher,
Here.
Mazzarelli.
Here.
Okay, we got a quorum. First on the agenda is today's agenda, which needs to be approved. And just so everybody knows, our computers were out for almost the entire day, so nobody could get in to update anything. There's a small deviation from the one that's filed on the website to the one you have in front of you. The item B under new business, discuss the cemetery, is already taken care of and done. And in its place is one that says discuss the BZA and PC appointments. And we do that every year in January for any of them that expire and have to be renewed. So that's the only change I have on theirs. Anybody got any questions or comments here from the board on it? If not, a motion to approve the agenda you actually have in front of you would be in order.
I'll approve the agenda as submitted.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. The next one is to approve the minutes from both the November 8th Township and Fire Board meetings, and also the December 1st special board meeting, which we had earlier this month. Are there any questions or comments on those minutes? Original packet here. Not, a motion would be in order to approve them. They look okay to me.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the November 8th board meeting and the special board meeting
And the Fire Board meeting too?
and the fire board meeting.
Any questions or comments from the board? If not, Janelle, could you, I'm sorry, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, they're approved. Good. Next item is the financials. And Patty, do you have any budget amendments for today?
No, I think I got them all last time.
Okay, I didn't see any. They look okay to me. Okay, we'll move on then. Accounts payable.
Okay, so in 101 this month, we spent, which 101 is your general account, $34,245.07. In 249, which is the building, there was a refund of $130. And 701 is the account where money's held for people who are doing projects. So there was $1,351.89 spent out of that. And that was probably to Beckett and Rader or legal fees, that type of thing. And the total is $35,726.96 for the township. And fire for the month was $29,296.20.
Well, we beat you this month, Kevin.
I motion. Yeah, we are. I'll motion to approve the accounts payable as submitted.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
By Gina. Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, Janelle, could you please take a roll call?
Beck,
Yes.
Bill, oh yeah. Mazzarelli,
Yes.
Nicole.
Yes. Okay. Well, financial reports for building and fire, we really don't have anything to go over that on it, right?
No.
Okay, and just so everybody knows, our treasurer is ill the last week and not in today, so I think we need to forego the investment reports until next month. I'm sure there's nothing significant on it.
She'll update them. My conversation with her in January.
Okay. All right, so then we'll move on. Under presentations, there are no items tonight. Under public hearings, there's no items tonight. And under unfinished business, there's no items tonight. So we'll move right into new business. And the first item on there is to discuss the 2022 NOHAS interlocal agreement. As you know, we have to do this every year to approve being in it. You should have gotten the documents, I think, that
Yep. There you go.
that gave you the stats and that. The program is very popular. It's working very well. The dollars aren't much different. They've gone up a little bit. And I would assume we would want to still continue to charge our residents only the $10 because it's actually about 55 or so bucks a car that goes through there. The township picks up most of it, but in most cases, I know we've had a little variance from that, chief, but in most cases it eliminates people leaving some of the junk on the side of the road for us to pick up.
Yeah.
Not the last couple of weeks, right?
Refrigerator's full of food.
So what we would need then is a motion to approve the interlocal agreement, and I think it has me down as the contact on it all the time, but you see the reports with how much, really, it's a huge amount of nasty stuff that we have kept out of the environment by being in this program as one of the original founding members. So, and we've been in it every year. And I think this year there's a good chance, I'm not sure if it's confirmed yet, but I think Brandon's going to be in it again. And I think one other community was going to be in
Have
it.
we ever hosted?
Here, no, the reason they don't is they pick the facilities trying to figure out how they can get most of the people to them, and we're really not convenient for them. So they almost always use Oakland University if they can. They try and get one somewhere in Orion, and then the other two depend on some. Huh?
Trucking it from here down.
Yeah. So we always do it and go in it, and we try to provide help when we can.
I
But
just wondered, because when I read it, it said they rotate the site.
yeah,
So,
there's 2 or 3 that they always use, and then the other ones get rotated kind of based on who's got them or what's happening that particular year. Sometimes there may be something specific at like Oakland University one year, and they might not be able to do it that year, and they'll pick someplace else.
yeah, I thought I remembered something at the high school, but that would have been a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, they should do, the kids did a large.
Oh, okay, the electronics. Okay, that's what it
Yeah.
is. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
Let me take a TV there.
So, yeah, I would make a motion that we participate in the NOHAS agreement with the county again for 2022.
Okay.
And appointing,
And appointing Robert DePalma, supervisor, Groveland Township. as
Unless
our
somebody else really wants to do it.
as our representative.
As a representative, yes.
Okay. All right. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll.
Okay, Patty supported it.
Jim,
Okay.
I thought Jim was down there.
This is going to spend money because it's a few $1,000s for the township. So Janelle, if you take roll call on it, please.
Christopher,
Yes.
Lizarelli,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I will speak tomorrow. Hold on, let me just come through this here, get to the last page. Tomorrow we'll try and take care of that with the county. No. Okay. And the next item on the agenda is to discuss the BZA and PC appointments, and this is because every year the appointments to the Planning Commission, the BZA and Tax Appeal are staggered so that they don't all expire on the same year. And then sometimes people, you know, they have the audacity, they actually retire.
After how long?
Yeah, after many years of 20-some years of Jenny doing great things for us, she just decided it would be nice to be in Florida for the winter months. So what I have here for us to fill seats on is one, Jeff Penzine, who's a recent appointee to the Planning Commission. He filled somebody else's appointment, would now be for a full term to 2024. Ken Carpenter, as I think everybody knows, he does our heating inspection, and I spoke to him last year when Jenny told me that she would be leaving and asked Ken if he would be willing to do it, and you still are, right? And we're appreciative of you being willing to do it, Ken. And I know you've got background in that stuff. Yeah, I think you got background in it, and I agree. I agree. And so his term would also be on the planning commission till 2024. And on the Board of Zoning Appeals, Mike Donlin's due for a reappointment, and that is also to 2024. And I think that's the only three we have right
Those are the
now,
only
right?
three we have.
So someone want to make the motion to make those, can we do it on one motion, or do we have to do it on three separate ones? I think we could do it on
I
one,
think
can't
we
we?
can.
Yeah. Does somebody want to make the motion for those three to expire on 2024? They all expire on December 31st, by the way.
I think we need to motion that Jeff Penzine is reappointed to the planning commission, Ken Carper
Mhm.
newly appointed. to the planning commission. And then
Mike Donlin.
get a support for that, and then we'll do the BZ.
Okay, all right.
I think
So
that
Second that.
keeps it clean.
she made the motion. Jim seconded.
I'll second.
Mhm.
Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that's done. Now you want to do the BZA one?
Yeah. Motion to appoint Mike Donlin to the BZA board for a 3-year term expiring in 2024.
Okay, so-
Support.
okay. Gina supported. Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're good. Take care of that. Very good. Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome.
Okay, next item on the agenda. This one's, I guess, really yours, Patty, too, right? It's the Open Meetings
Yeah, this is
Act.
the
what
Open
We have to do at
Meetings
the
Act.
beginning of the year.
So it's just a resolution saying that what our meetings are gonna be for the year
Mhm.
for 2022. And then there's, it'll also be published in the paper for township meetings, zoning board of appeals, and planning commission.
Okay.
So the resolution only needs to be done for the Open Meetings Act. So my motion is to approve the Open Meetings Act Resolution 2021-023 for naming the dates for the board,
Township
the
board.
township board to meet in the year 2022.
Okay, the only one that looks like it's not on a Monday is the October 11th one this year, which happens to be moved to Tuesday because of the
Right.
holiday. right?
Yep, yes,
Okay, and then these are get posted on our website. too.
yes, they'll be posted on the website, and then we always post the agenda on the door. And anybody can always call, and we'll be happy to see to it you get a copy.
Okay, so you made the motion to approve this. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second. Okay, any questions or comments from the board? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, they're approved and they'll be posted. And then on this, for the BZA and the PC, do we just post this on the website?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so just so anybody
Yes,
listening knows,
Yep. we'll
the
post
dates for
those
the PC
dates.
meetings and the
It
BZA
is
are.
on the
also-
calendar.
Oh,
And
is
that
it?
was, remember, there was some confusion a couple
Yes.
meetings ago because it's listed every month, but it's as needed. So just
Yeah.
because it's listed doesn't
Okay.
mean we're having a meeting necessarily.
Okay, so we don't even need a motion for this. Let's see. Next item on the agenda is to discuss the township's antenna site. This is the antenna site that we own over at Grange Hall, exit 101 and I-75. Earlier this month, on December the 1st, we had a meeting because I wanted to make sure that some other people were aware of the issues that have happened on the antenna in the past and what was being requested, and I wanted it to be a board decision going forward. But just to surmise kind of what's happened, the antenna people for the 5th time have had an individual they've asked to try and get us to change our antenna lease. And as I said, she's the 5th one I've dealt with over the years. And they want us to cut the rent, cut the escalator, and cut the co-location fee. And I know we have a very good lease because I've talked to the people at Varnum and Associates, which is kind of in Michigan, the leading legal firm on antenna leases and sell stuff. And he does all the training classes like the one I sent Will to this year and the ones I've gone to in the past. And I've talked to the principal there that does that stuff. He was kind of busy, looked at our stuff, and he gave me an associate of his in another state. He says, this guy does hundreds of municipal leases. And so the individual there, John, was willing to do a kind of a tutorial for us in that closed session to talk about what are the issues to look at if you sell it or lease it, and what they ask and what the likely outcomes are. And I think all of you had the opportunity, I believe, to ask him questions and get anything answered. So at this point in time, that was done that was information provided to the board under a closed session because it deals with a lease or a real estate deal, which is one of the things you can do it under. Obviously, because you don't want the other party to be able to listen in and say, well, now I know exactly what they're going to say, right? So based on that, everybody had it. If you have any questions or comments you want to make, now would be the time to do it, but we need to make a decision on really the alternatives are, do we want to sell the antenna outright? We've had 3 or 4 people ask about that. Do we want to renegotiate the lease down under the terms that they had proposed? Or do we want to just leave it the way it is? Because the antenna doesn't expire until December of 24, the current lease on it, and it's got options to renew it out to, I think, 2044, if I remember correctly. So are there any questions or comments anybody wants to make on this?
My only comment is, I think staying pat right now is to the benefit of the township. And if we have an opportunity perhaps to renegotiate, seems to me we gave some money away at one point in time, so to speak. I can't say give money
He
away.
said that. I'm not sure how he came up with that exactly, but
But if
he
we
thinks
did,
the change in the way they structured the escalator on the rent is
Right.
what he did, but we also got a signing bonus for doing it too.
all right, so in the event, if we have any opportunity to renegotiate, my opinion is negotiate up if there was anything we gave away in the spirit of a down economy from years past. But other than that, I feel strongly we leave it the way it is and not sell.
Did anybody get, I did get an email today that I sent to all of you and Will, but it was late in the afternoon. It was from Varnum and Associate dealing on this exact issue. And Will got it and immediately turned around and said, yeah, I agree, basically. So I just wondered if anybody's seen it, but I sent it out late today.
I don't have it.
It supports that position. Okay.
And based on the information we were given from the experts in the closed session, I'm gonna agree with what Jim says.
So was that your motion?
No, it was no,
Oh.
I guess if you want to call it a motion, sure.
Okay, and
I'll support that.
support
we
that. Any
stay-
other
stay
questions or
pat. I
comments
agree.
from the board?
Stay pat.
If not, all in favor of staying
do.
pat? Oh,
Oh, yeah.
well, we're not actually changing it, but okay.
I know, but I think just.
Okay, just to be
cover
clear,
Okay.
good is probably, okay. Will you take a roll call, Janelle?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Lizarelli,
Yes.
Tacoma,
Yes.
Bax,
Yes.
Yes.
We'll just do that so everybody's clear. We all agree. Good idea, Patty. I agree.
Cross our Ts.
Hold on to the lease.
Yeah, I think the meeting we had with the experts in the field overwhelmingly said that. And when you see that email I sent out today, you'll see it just
Okay.
reaffirms it again. Okay.
In fact, to your point, and I guess for the listening audience, we asked in particular, did this expert see any threats in the future in terms of new technology that might be an impediment? Pretty much said no.
Yeah, everybody's, what's happening in the industry is even though there's a consolidation of the number of carriers, the satellite companies are getting ready to put drops on these antennas so that they can cover a radius from there better and easier. And that's the big thing. And a number of the antennas at some of the other communities have already been hit up for that. In fact, I think the new one going in Camp Tamarack might have a dish mast on it when it finally gets turned up. You know, it's been there for several months, but
They're talking
a year. Yeah, but it ain't working because they can't get a fiber cable to it or something. So when that gets turned up, I think we're gonna all out here, if you have Verizon, because that's who has the mast, I think we're all gonna see a significant improvement, because I know if you're at my house, that's why I tell people, if you want, call me at home on my home phone, because I have to do one of the rain dances out on the back porch with my cell phone sometimes to get a text or a phone call to come in on it. It's a hit or miss thing. And I think when this antenna gets turned on, because it's about halfway between my house and here, it'll probably fill the whole circle.
I was wondering when that was going to be completed.
Yeah, it should have
It's
been,
been out for a while.
yeah, a year. It just isn't turned on and they can't get the fiber to it for some reason. So the guy at Camp Tamarack comes in periodically talking building department. He tells us if it's coming on or not, because we all want to see it go in. It would be better for everybody out here. Okay, that was it. Next item, Patty, this one I think is yours, the request of whether or not we want to renew the
Yeah,
subscription
so
for
our-
online.
Online with the MTA subscription is up for renewal. So it's just a matter of, do we want to renew it? It's a premium pass is 1,900 and that one includes access to all titles in both the essentials and plus packages. And those are at your service, board roles and relations, election tips, and fundamentals, so on and so forth. The plus package is 1,000 and you get access to all titles listed in the essential package and specialized topics that take your township in depth on programs and service. Says many townships provide accounting and payroll, cemetery management, effectively exercising board authority. And then the essential package, it offers access to 10 essential online courses. That one plus package quality for credit in MTA's new Red Book Ready Learning Series. You get that, and then with the premium pass, that would be what we had
This past year.
this past year. So I don't know how the board feels on that. If anybody has stuff they still want to look at, or.
I was
don't
gonna
know.
say, I enjoyed it very much, but I've exhausted what I need to take.
Okay,
So I don't see the need, at least on my end, for the expenditures.
okay.
And then the special classes do come along that we
Yes.
can get individually.
Yeah.
So, if something like that were to come
Right.
up, so I have taken everything that I will take at this
That's
point.
good. That's what we wanted, a special
Okay.
deal and
We
use
were-
it up.
Yeah, yes.
That's exactly what we wanted.
And it was, it was awesome. It really was,
I
especially
think
the
Teresa
BZA
took some
stuff.
too.
Yeah,
when
she
you
did.
said-
She did.
She was
finishing
positive
up
on
for
it.
governance.
Yeah.
Jim, you got any comment?
Yeah, I like having access to it. I
Mhm.
can be honest, I didn't use it a lot, but the fact that I know it's there.
Mhm.
I cheat because my neighbor is now the boss over here, so I call him on occasion. But if we can support it in the budget, I'd like to have it still.
What was the cost on it?
1,900 for the premium pass, and that one gives you everything, and you get free access to the monthly Now You Know live webinar series. I
Mhm.
think those are at lunch.
Yeah.
Lunchtime, like noon, and then 20% discount on other live virtual programming. And even in-person learning, including our annual conference and expo. So that would mean if we're gonna attend the conference, whether it's, I believe, whether it's in person or virtual, we can, it's 20% off to each member.
Patty, is this also available to Janelle and Ken and anybody else that works in the
Uh,
township?
yes. Mhm.
I don't know if the two of you.
I will say Janelle are you still working on your governance?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
So she
Yeah.
is still working on her governance.
Then it's worth it.
So that
absolutely.
would, to me,
Okay, somebody needs to make a motion.
I will make the motion that I can't even speak, you guys. I make a motion that we continue our MTA online subscription for the premium pass package. Wow.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Any questions or comments from the board? If not, Janelle, would you take a roll call, please?
Palma,
Yes.
Jack,
yes,
Christopher,
Yes.
Lizarelli,
Yes.
Okay. All right, that moves us to miscellaneous reports. And the first are the reports on both the Holly and Brandon Youth. Patty,
I
Can you
don't
comment on
have
either?
anything for Holly area youth assistance. I'm not sure what was going on in Brandon. I should have maybe checked with Teresa, but I didn't.
yeah,
Janelle, have you heard anything of what?
she'll tell us at the
Okay,
next meeting.
She
though,
will,
when she's
she'll
back.
fill us in, so.
Okay, for planning commission, Jim, do you have anything?
Yeah, the last planning commission, we beat up the issue a little bit of collectively call it traffic management associated with the Renaissance Festival. And we bantered back and forth as a group about how to go forward and what to try to press the folks that are running the show over there. And if I am saying this accurately, I'm the one that suggested that I would like to see at the Renaissance Festival's expense, a full traffic study, where as a board, we can review the assumptions and the metrics and the calculations of a recognized person qualified to do it, not take it on as a board, not bad choice of words. Here you go. Not rely on the expertise of the Renaissance Festival, but to defer to an expert and to insist that we're not waiting till August to make a decision. So if that means that come January, February, perhaps at the latest, we let them know what we need to expect. And
Just to let you know, and
yeah.
I say this because I'm not sure it got through, I've been getting rejections on selective messages out of my email the last 2 or 3 days. And one of them was the one I sent you, I think.
I'm having issues, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the reason I say it is I had Kathy and her son who does the parking come in, and I tried to tee her up, you're gonna have to get this stuff done. And I mentioned most of those items. But I think when you get a chance, you and I need to discuss more fully the conversation I had with her.
Sure.
Because I agree exactly with what you're saying. And I made those references, but I think we need to do something probably with both PCs to make sure it gets done.
Yeah, and a couple of things. So a little bit off topic. My trustee email is working fine. My corporate email is not.
But it wasn't just your message. I've had 3 or 4 other ones. And what surprises me that I know they got the message because they answered me. So they had to go through.
And as it relates to back to the Renaissance Festival, I feel strongly enough, and I know many of the people that were affected by it feel this way too, that I personally won't sign off on the use permit at all. And I think some of our other folks on the planning commission feel as strongly.
And I think that's how it should be. We need to, the problem has always been, because this has been fixed at least 2 times in the past, but it never sticks for more than about 2 or 3 years. And then something that nobody anticipated happens. And I think the point you made in our earlier discussion was there's no like real plan B.
Yeah.
You know, it happens and like, well, we didn't know it was going to happen and it's just a mess. We have to have all those things we talked about in those meetings earlier with the state police, the sheriff, and the Renaissance Festival and everybody together. And I gave her a heads up, just so you know, that on the signs they talked about for the roads for no parking, I said, those unlike normal traffic signs don't have to have an MSP work order on them. They can actually do them right out of the garage with Alex, the safety engineer at the road commission. But I said, you need to get started early with him because it takes a while to get those signs built and ready to have them for the Renaissance Festival.
I agree with all of that. And I feel just as strongly as this needs to be a collaboration, not a polarization. But I think enough's enough for the community. And since this speaks a little bit to what my career has been, what they don't know, if we have to steer them a little bit, that's fine. But we need absolutely an objective third-party opinion and morph that into something that we all can live with. So it's the sheriff, the MSP, the community. I have my own opinions, but in terms of how to fix it, but we're not going there at all. It's up to a third party.
I agree with you. And they said, you know, they have hired them in the past. Part of the problem has been the coordination between what Holly was willing to do in the earlier days and us. They had the study done, but it didn't yield what most of those suggestions were. And I think that's changed now. I think it has.
So,
And Janelle made a suggestion, for example, on Holdridge Road to move it to their property. And I ran it by both the state police and the sheriff the next day. And both of them thought that's probably a better solution anyway, because the state police, ironically, after the meeting we had driven down Holdridge Road. So this is a terrible road. I think they need to come out somewhere else. So both of them agreed with it. And I mentioned that to George, but I have not had a chance to actually speak live to George in the last week or so. And I don't know if it's because his wife got ill. And so I don't know if that's why, but we need to have some,
Yeah.
you and I think are on the same page.
Yeah.
We need to have some
And I
discussion.
also want to, assuming we can, what's the word I want, impose our will a little bit as a township, I'd actually like to see the plan that they either have in place or the one associated with how do they actually handle the parking once they're on their property? Where does it go? Who's running it? I'm sorry to say, is there a competent group running it? This has now gotten too much.
Well, here's part of the interesting thing, we noticed when we finally got Danielle and I were emailing her back and forth saying, here's some of the stuff that came up and what are your numbers for this year? And the number they gave us for this year was, you're gonna laugh at this, 218,000, which for the Renaissance Festival would be a very small turnout. They've had 250 in big years. So I went back to her and I said, if it's 218, how do we have such a horrific problem this year? If that's a light traffic year for you, I would have expected at least 235, 240, a minimum to have that much problem, right? And she told me when she came in, she said, well, her mother used to do the physical ticket counting and her mom passed away about a year ago. So they hired an outside firm to count the tickets. And she said, that's the number they gave us. And they say that's what it was, but we don't buy it either because she said, if you just look at the food we sold at the Renaissance Festival and that as a gauge, there were a lot more than 280. I think you had 260 or 280 there. And the literature they put out for next year says they anticipate 280. I don't know where you put that.
So that speaks to a little bit more professionalism.
They're getting another company, by the way, for that.
Well, and I would assume that that's part of the equation, so to speak, that the traffic management expert wants to see.
Yeah.
I want to bring up something too, just to kind of reinforce my position. My wife and I go to Pine Knob frequently.
Mhm.
Now, when this surfaced 3 or 4 years ago, I happened to do some research and if my memory is right, Pine Knob holds 15,000 people per code. And I think their their parking, I think is 7,800. And I have this somewhere in my home office. There's never been this issue at Pine Knob. No, never. Never at the Palace years ago when Lord knows who was coming.
That always worked pretty good
Never
when
been
we
an
went,
issue.
yeah.
So there are solutions.
Yes.
And now it's time. I'm being repetitive, but I think we all get it.
But when you get a chance, we'll get
Yeah.
together later in the
Yeah,
week.
later.
I'll tell you the rest of the conversation, so you're fully aware. of
So in
what
any
it's
event,
like.
that was the planning commission.
Were you gonna say something, chief?
I was just gonna say that the company they hired to do parking didn't show up last year. So it's all in-house people doing.
So great. That is good to know. That also leads to
So
plan B.
we
What's
had
plan
a
B?
ticket counter they couldn't count. We had a parking group that didn't
Yeah.
show up.
It's time.
And we had a bumper turnout we think was way above normal.
And that was the initial weeks. I don't know if they never showed up or if they just didn't show the first. time.
I don't know, but there had to be something like that because he still says he had 8 acres of unused parking in the parking structure, in the parking lot that he could use. But part of the problem the state police would reference is you need enough people to move all that stuff in.
Sure.
And I'm guessing if the parking people didn't show up, they were scarce for people.
I'm not being a hard ass. Those are unacceptable excuses.
Yes.
Period.
It's a business.
Well, it was like,
Yeah.
and the signs, they didn't have the electronic
Yeah.
sign. That's, all that stuff should have been done way in advance.
They were begging us last year, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, for us to do the parking. I was like, absolutely not.
No.
No,
Oh,
not our job.
You're not
You
parking.
know those old stockades they used to have? That's what we would have here because everybody would be blaming us then for all the litany of problems that have happened
Yeah,
there.
no.
They need to get people that are,
And there need to be consequences too. if it
it's
doesn't
enough for
work.
us to get this full squad we need for the paramedic stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen, I just want to make it clear. I appreciate it, the chair. I personally enjoy it. But I'm really okay with fines if it doesn't work. And we could have had a death, the result
Yes.
of what went on. That's simply unacceptable.
But there was a whole
No.
litany of solutions that were suggested that all seemed pretty good. And for the most part, I think most people are kind of amenable to most of them, but we really need to make sure that our PC has all of that enumerated, clearly dictated to them,
Yeah.
and that Holly's got it on the other end, because as I remind everybody, the festivals in Holly, a lot of what has to happen here has to be followed through with them on their side too, so that the two are working together on
Well, I
this when we get
suspect
done.
we can engage them
Yeah.
in a positive way.
Okay, I'll talk to you later, but thanks. Anything else on the PC?
No, that's all we did.
I can let you know, I've worked with the developer that came in that wants to do the PUD on Dixie, you know, with the storage and stuff. He's been very, very cooperative, probably the best developer I've ever worked with. And he came in and asked me for some help with the water department because it turns out that the Eagle, the old DEQ, and the water resource people in the Board of Health don't use the same sets of studies and statistics for developing the REU conversions. They actually have a higher number of REU for the little storage units he wants with the bathroom in it than a mobile home park,
Yeah.
if you can believe that. So I gave him a couple of suggestions and I told him if he had a problem with it, let me know, and I try and set up a follow-up meeting, but I thought these people could help him, and he's very accommodating. He just wants someone to be realistic about what they're looking at. So that's kind of held up right now, getting the septic approval for it the way that it should be. So I'll let you know if that changes, but
Yeah.
he came in the other day, just before the end of the week. And the BZA, Gina, is there anything?
No meetings on the BZA, but I will say something that Jim mentioned. Ordinance enforcement, if we give a variance for a certain amount of time, we need to be more diligent on it happening in that amount of time.
Is there one I need to know about or something that
Yeah,
you can tell me later?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because Jerry comes in on Wednesdays, and I got two that I talked to him about last week that we've been working on for a
and
while
they
for
might be in the
blight
works,
conditions.
and I don't know, because we haven't had a meeting. but
And
yeah.
I got to talk to him again to make sure he followed up, because I usually don't see him except on Wednesday when he comes in in the afternoon.
Okay.
Okay, on supervisors, I got a couple of things to let everybody know about. Yeah, as most of you know, we're still working on the marijuana issues. My goal is to hopefully, and I spoke to Will about this, get a date here yet in December where the board can have a working session to see drafts of the two ordinances, so that we can come to a concurrence and tee it up for a public meeting, which hopefully would be January, but if not, at the outside February. For those who don't know, the state of Michigan's finally realized that they basically screwed up, I think, the way they implemented the legalization of marijuana in Michigan. So there were originally three House bills, House Bill 5300, 01, and 02 that were written. And I see in the last MTA News magazine that they've also introduced the last three, which is 53, 19, 20, and 21. So those are designed to try and fix some of the gaping holes in the marijuana regulations that the state has to fix it. But we're also going to try and do some things with the help of Jerry, our ordinance officer, and Will, to address the issue here in the township, as well as look at the possibility of the Class C large commercials that don't seem to be a problem and are trying to do it the right way. The sewer project is been agreed to by all four communities to do the funding for the consultants they need to try and address the first part of the project only, which is to bring the capacity for Ortonville, Brandon, Groveland, and Holly to the state line or county line in Genesee and get it at a reasonable price. But they did send the invoices out to Patty and I last week that said, okay, now we want you to pay that. It's roughly 50 grand a community for that study. And I said, yeah, but you guys told us that we're gonna, you sold me a resolution that said the county was gonna pony up for matches on that. And he said, yeah, but you have to pay it first, and then we're gonna help you petition the 50% back. So as soon as we pay that, we should be able to go to them and say, okay, tell me how I get the other half back, because they're the ones that got that resolution done through the county commissioners. So that should actually end up costing us $25,000 out of the, I think, build back ARPA America Better deal. Station one, Chief Mason got the for sale signs up, and we've had probably I think I've had about 5 inquiries on it and 2 or 3 that I've taken through it. And I talked to somebody else today. Originally, I'd said we'd give them till the end of the year to make proposals on it, but we might extend that to the 15th only because it took a while to get the sign here. And we should have by the end of the year or very close to that, the proposals for the new building. I've got 3 now that are bidding on it. There was a 4th individual that asked about it. We sent him the stuff and he sent in a letter back and said, thanks, but I think we've decided we better not bid on it. So the 3 bidders are Bedrock and then the construction company that did Holly's Power Sports. And the 3rd one is I did get the fellow that's done the Michigan State Police Post that they all know up in Lansing, Bruce, up in Alpena. I sent him the stuff. And so he's going to give us a bid on it too. So we should have, hopefully in January, all the bits and pieces back to know, can we make this whole thing fly and how it works? There's some cautious optimism that Janelle, who's been running HERD for me on the Build Back America Better funds that are coming in, that everybody's trying to figure out how we could use, and they keep on telling us, yeah, we're going to let you know how that works, you know, and they hint at what it is, but it looks like we might have a couple of places where we may be able to get some grant money to pay for part or maybe all of an ambulance or 2, which I think, you know, I've told you we need. And it looks like we might be able to find a way to use some of it for, emergency services building, which would be the fire station. So I don't think most of that's going to get cleared up till after the 1st of the year, but there's some glimmer of hope, and we're hoping it's light at the end of the tunnel, not a train. So that's looking a little bit better as well. The other thing is Patty and I still have to go over the OPEB report, which came back, but I've looked at it and I can tell you that our OPEB funding for both this township and the fire department funds, because they're separate, are in excellent shape. The discrepancy which Patty picked up, and when I looked at it, I saw it too, we got a column on, if anything, will actually make your funding a little tiny bit better than it is. So when we get that done, I'll get it to the whole board. We just want to make sure there aren't any other issues we missed, and we have to get back to that. So that's all I have for the supervisor's report. Is there anything you want to do for the clerk?
I just had a little bit of information. Holly area veterans on December 20th from 5:30 to 7, they're going to hold their monthly vet to vet dinner. The American Legion, it's free to all veterans and their loved ones. A meal, then a short presentation. Bruce Freemark is in charge of vet to vet. On December 23rd, starting at noon, there will hold an annual Christmas holiday lunch. If you're coming, they're asking to let them know. If you would like to bring a dish to pass, please do. And then they have a new hometown heroes committee. And that committee is very active with the tree of ribbons. So they had changed the ribbons on the tree. Some of them were getting pretty tattered and torn. And they're still working on funds to cover the traveling wall and dinner. Yes, I believe it is. The dinner theater on January 21st at the Vault. Dinner starts at 7, followed by an improv show presented by Clarkston Village Players. Tickets are $40 and $60 a couple. If you want tickets, contact Rick Power or Joe Mishler. And the traveling wall is coming to Holly August 3rd to the 8th, 2022, be located at the Richter campus. So I'll get these put on the Facebook page, website, and we'll run some for the office if anybody would like to pick one up. And the other thing I wanted to bring up is last Zoom meeting, our Zoom meeting for the public to be able to Zoom in, call in, and make public comment ends December 31st. And there has been nothing said about any extensions to it.
So the state law reverts back to
Yes,
you have
it
to be present.
reverts back to you have to be present. I believe we're going to continue to
Facebook.
film.
Yeah, put them on Facebook.
Yep,
yeah.
and they'll go on Facebook with the YouTube. Okay, and that's pretty much all I have.
Patty, I have a question, and I don't know if you can answer or not. What you just spoke of indicates that we as board members don't have the latitude to zoom in.
Correct.
Correct.
It all goes.
The whole
back.
Zoom thing goes
Yes.
away.
The entire Zoom thing. So as a courtesy to the community, we can't maintain that.
No.
There's a
Okay.
small window, but it wouldn't pertain to any
Okay.
of us.
In fact, even if you left the Zoom for the public, they can't comment on it
Right.
anymore then.
Okay.
So it's the same thing as putting it on Facebook, really.
Right.
Okay, and the treasurer's ill today, so we won't have anything for her that. With that, I think, I can't see it there, but Janelle, you said we have some people from the public?
Yes, we have 2 members.
Okay, well, at this time, we'll open it for public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that wants to ask any questions about anything on today's agenda?
I don't know where the Richter site is for the traveling wall.
It's on Holly Road. I don't know if they gave me an answer.
Carl Richter Center is
Carl
that
Richter,
old one.
yes.
That's the old school complex in Holly, in the village. When you go down Saginaw, you know, to the main intersection, you make a
Right.
left turn.
It's,
If you're going
Okay,
down,
yeah.
you make a left turn going
Downtown
east.
Holly?
yes.
Downtown Holly, when you get to the main intersection where the light is,
Yeah.
you make a left turn and drive down, it's about, I'm guessing roughly 2 miles. You won't miss it. There's a big sign out front because it used to be the school administration building and stuff, and now it's got the village offices are in it, and
Holly Youth
some of the youth
Assistant.
assistance is in there. A lot of it's empty, but they use it for other municipal functions. There's a big sign right up by the road.
You turned right into that.
Yeah, the other
I was ahead
left.
Ahead of Bob. I was on the main drag. I was on Holly Road.
The other left, the right one.
Yes, chief, do you know the address by heart?
No, I was just wondering why they just didn't put it at the veteran cemetery.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
It's a lot bigger.
Maybe they just thought more people would see it at there. I don't know. You're right. That would have been a good place for it, really. Right on the way in there, there's that big, long section where there's nobody buried. It could have put it there or by that building where people go to find out where people are buried. Yeah.
A lot more appropriate.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know.
I saw it when I was up in Escota.
Did you?
It was here a while back. Was
I
it
don't
like
remember.
now? It was a while. Janelle.
Is there another question?
Yes, there's a question. I know this answer, but I know a lot of people have called about this, right?
Okay.
One of the residents would like to know, what is the price for the fire station?
We're not putting a price on it. We're taking offers on it. We have a very good idea what it is worth. I've had it appraised and I have had for a while. When we see what the offers are, I'm happy to reveal the appraisal and everything to everybody then. But obviously I don't want to do it now. If I tell somebody what one of the offers are, the next guy could come out and just say, well, I'll pay another $1,000, okay? And that's not fair to anybody. So we're taking offers, but I am absolutely confident we're going to get a very good price for the fire station.
And just to clarify, you said you will announce how much it was appraised for when those offers are.
Yeah, sure. They can get the document once the deal is done. Everybody will be pleased, I'm sure.
And how are we marketing?
We've just done it with a sign because most of the people that actually have done it have called because they've either been driving by the ORV. I showed the building to General Dynamics. I've showed it to a couple of local businessmen that are in the area. The guy today is a local businessman in the area. I've had a couple of realtors call. I think they're just kind of seeing if anybody's interested. But I think the bulk of the value of the building is to anybody that's aware of what's happening with the ORV park in the area. And most of those people already know what's going on. This is not going to be somebody, I think, coming from a distance away, just saying, well, I thought I'd buy a building in a small area. It's somebody that knows what we've got planned for the development on the Dixie Byway and all of that. So, and we've told people we were selling it for a long time, so I think it's pretty well known.
Okay.
Any other questions?
The last comment was just we could potentially get better offers if we market it.
When they see what we get, I'm confident they won't think that.
I can comment to that too. I used to be a developer, not personally, but I ran a development company. This is a very, very niche item here. I have explored it with some of the bigger developers that I still do business with. There's not going to be a lot of interest for this particular deal. So I think we're marketing it just fine, and I've been a little bit involved in it too, and I think very strongly we are going to exceed expectations as Bob does.
If we don't, I would put it with somebody to try it, but I'm confident that's not going to be the case. I've been working this for a long time. Okay,
Yep, I think that's good. I don't see anything else.
just by way of comparison, I mean, even when we did the gravel pit bid, you know, we put it out, we had 3 different people bid on it. And I told them, you tell me what you think it's worth, and I'll tell you that the prices came out. They were in completely different galaxies and universes. And the winner on it was just overwhelmingly, obviously, so much better. And I believe that's going to be the case on this too. Okay, if there's nothing else, then we'll, no other questions, we'll close the meeting and reconvene for the fire board chief. So I make a motion that we close the meeting and reconvene to the fire board. Is there a second?
I motion as a second.
Okay, any other questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, chief, we're all here. It's your meeting.
For the month of November, we had 75 calls. That brought our total up to 1,098 for the year as of December 1st. I'd like to point out that if you look at down for the next previous years, we're back up to the numbers we were when we were doing the village also.
Without the village.
Without the village, we're back up to the numbers that we were helping the village. So we've been pretty busy. I got a couple of new hires, which I'm really happy about. We like to hire Christopher Reiser as a paid on call. He's not trained. He lives in on Groveland Road. He's also the husband of Kaylin that we hired last month. So husband and wife team, no training. But
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, he's got some hazmat background. So hopefully once we get him fire trained, we can put him into that venue also. So I'd like a motion to hire Christopher Reiser.
I'll make a motion that we hire Christopher Reiser as paid on call.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Take a roll call on it, please. Yeah.
Jack,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Devon,
Yes. Okay, next one, Kevin.
Just Saturday, Brendan Hannafin, we'd like to hire him as a fill-in. He's a trained fire and EMT, fire 1 and 2 EMT basic.
Wow.
He hails from White Lake. His dad is a White Lake firefighter down there. He works for Springfield also, but
And he wants to come all the way up here?
yeah, and wants to start working up Wednesday. So
Perfect, huh?
yeah, so very energetic. And
Wasn't that one of Olivia's old days? No?
so I'd like a motion to hire Brendan Hannafin.
I'll motion we hire Brendan Hannafin, but he has to have his I-9 and all that in prior. I know you brought some stuff into Janelle.
As far as the backgrounds, he's had 2 in the last 2 years, so I'm not worried about that.
Okay. As a paid on call, fire 1 and
He's a
2,
fill-in.
as a fill-in, fire 1 and 2 EMT basic.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Janelle, if you take a roll call.
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Devon,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes.
Okay, third one is like to rehire Justin Tomei. He was on last year, but since he was traveling so much, he didn't get a chance to come by at all. So he thought he should turn in his gear and for someone else to use while because of COVID, he hasn't been able to travel. So we called him up, asked him if he'd be interested, and he said he would. So I'd like to rehire him as a fire 1 and 2 EMT basic.
Someone want to make the motion?
I'll make the motion that we rehire Justin Tomei as paid on call trained fire 1 and 2 EMT basic.
Okay, second to that?
I'll second.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Missouri,
Yes.
Devon,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Okay.
The association is, like we did last year, we adopted 3 families last year. This year, we're looking to adopt some more. For some families, Stacy is working with a couple local agencies in the church, and we think we have some already, but we don't have any confirmed numbers yet. So what we did last year, we provided some gifts for the children and some meals. So we don't know what's going to be required yet this year, but we're working on that. Just to give you a heads up. We donated to the Brandon Groveland Youth Association and the Holly Area Youth Association. We gave those checks to Patty and she's mailed them off for us. We also donated to the Benjamin Strong Scholarship, which we have been doing for the last few
That's
years.
for the little boy that used to be in the mobile home, right?
And we have wreaths across America this Saturday at the Veterans Cemetery. We're bringing our ladder and the village is bringing theirs. We did get the new flag and we're gonna put that up there.
Oh, it came in?
Big.
15 by 25. We're gonna
Sorry.
figure out how we're gonna mount it on the chains and a pole pipe or whatever, so we can.
Don't make it so heavy it pulls the ladder down, right?
So, it's gonna be obviously a good time up there as far as breaking up the wreaths and everything. And we had our Christmas party on Saturday. We had about, I don't know, maybe not quite 50 people show up, but we had a good time. Santa was there, the kids were very excited, and lots of food. And,
I'm sorry, I didn't stop by. I was in White Lake.
were you with Brendan?
No, I was, I inadvertently drove to Sterling Heights first when I was supposed to go to White Lake, to meet our old friends, and that was the day it was all planned in advance.
Stacy's also working on a grant, and we're gonna hopefully finish that up tomorrow, and we start working back in the tower again. We got the
Yeah, I was
floor
surprised.
down on the 3rd floor, and
That's gonna look nice in there when
got
that's
some more nails today, so we're gonna. I got enough wood to do most of the 2nd floor, so we'll probably get a couple more levels. And then we're gonna obviously do some more drywall and whatnot.
Mhm.
But I mean, we got so many projects going on, it's hard to keep track of them all. And John's working on the trailer at Station 1 that was pretty bent, so overloaded it.
Oh,
And so we had to cut some steel out of it and replace the steel and, reinforce it. So it's upside down now. He's replaced the steel. We're gonna bring it in and grind it down and paint it. So we had that big car haul trailer.
oh, okay.
And we did get rid of the stuff on Buckle Lake.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thank
Thank you.
Kevin, just a couple of things. Is there anything you attribute to the number of runs that are going up?
I wish I could say, oh, it's this thing here, but it's just a lot of little things. We've had some more COVID cases in the township, but I can't say they're all significant, obviously, but whereas last year we had very few, we've had more this year. So I can't really attribute to that. It's just call lines going up, and I think it's the same with everybody around us.
How about anything new with the fire truck that you want to?
So that Barry was gonna work on?
Yeah, that Barry
I
worked.
talked to Barry and I told him that you all supported it. We haven't talked about it since.
You might get him because he's gonna go back down to Florida for a couple of weeks, and he was here today with me. I could have mentioned it to him. I'm sorry, I
He
forgot.
did look at Alpha 1 and he told us that, yeah, the motor was shot. They did get it to turn over, they did get it to run, but he says it's got water in the oil now. So basically it's sitting in Barry's parking lot right now, waiting for us to do something with it. And I've talked to Bob about it. I'm kind of contemplating right now. Maybe we could buy a new truck like Alpha 7, which would be a 4-wheel gas vehicle. And then maybe turn in Alpha 1 and Alpha 4 into a remount company and get credit for those boxes and maybe get a remount one. And the reason I do still want a remount is because they're bigger trucks, bigger than the 47 style, but that would give us, technically, if we got one new one and a remount, that would give us 4 trucks again. And then I do agree with Bob, we don't really need 4, but if we got those 2, we'd have 3 very low, 2, 0 miles, basically. Alpha 7's got about 60,000 miles, Alpha 2 has about 90,000 miles on it. Alpha 4 has 208,000 miles on it. And the body's rusting out, so I mean, it's just our backup, honestly. So that we could sell Alpha 2 at that point, which has 96,000 on it. So if we went down to 3, not 4, personally, I like having 4. I mean, there is.
But we ain't collecting cars here.
Oh, we go through cars. We go through a lot of trucks. So that's what we're talking about anyway.
It's just that when we keep an ambulance, it's got about $1,000, $1,200 a year insurance premiums on it, I think. And plus, when they do break, they're kind of expensive to fix. So then they end up, you can't hardly get away on most of them for less than $3,000 to $6,000 when something breaks on them.
Kevin, does it, thanks, Bob.
Especially the diesel.
Yeah.
The one that's at Barry's facility, does it have any salvage value? Broken.
Actually, that one has.
The ambulance, you mean, sir?
Yeah.
I think it's got 90,000, but you're going to spend probably 14 years putting a new motor on it.
I'm just curious, yeah.
I mean, we can take the box off, which is, the box looks in great shape, and put on another chassis.
Yeah, and we're better off doing that because I think this answers your question. When you get ready to trade in an old ambulance, you're lucky if the ambulance company give you $5,000 for it.
Yeah, we had to fight for the last one.
To get 5.
To get one.
They're just not worth
Because
those things.
they were going to give us, I think, 3,500, and the
Yeah.
boss managed price that we're arguing over $1,500.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious.
And obviously, it's a year wait for the new, for a new ambulance. It's probably about the same for a remount. And I think the prices are going to keep going up. So.
Maybe we could get it wrapped like your hippie band.
There you go. That'd be fun.
Honestly, we talked about doing that instead of painting it, just wrapping the red foil.
Yeah.
And I talked to Brandon, there's a company they use on the west coast that, of Michigan that remount their vehicles. The ones we had done up in Bay City, we weren't really happy with. We're looking into that for a quote.
Did we do the run for the gentleman on the bicycle that got hit? And did we? Is it that older gentleman that's always riding up and down there? Oh, okay. All right.
I do have a question. For probably the last 4 weeks through MTA online newsletter, they've talked about money going to fire departments specifically for on-call and new hires. Is it benefiting you? Is it really happening? Or
I think that's that. I sent you an email that I got from the MTA newsletter. I think that's what she's referring to and said there might be some grants there. When I send you the attached flash I get, if it's got a story for the fire department, I usually put it up in the header to you. There was another one today for something else.
That's what he sent me something.
Yeah.
Neil didn't hook us up.
yeah, it was over the weekend, their weekly wrap up. There was definitely something.
And there was another one that
Yeah.
came in today too. They had something. I just can't remember what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
We're, Stacy's, looking at all the grants that are opening up and stuff like that. So
So should we email them to Stacy?
if you send it to me, I'll send it to her.
No, send it to the chief first.
Send it to the chief first, okay.
Because I see him a lot more and then I can't remember sometimes, so I
Okay.
catch him later. Is that it? Anything else?
Any questions?
There's just a public comment here that, thank you to the fire department staff who responded to my home for a hazardous emergency. And again, after midnight, the staff was awesome, professional and reassuring and arrived very quickly after my 911 call.
Oh,
So,
great.
Nice.
Nice to hear.
Nice.
so
Nice to hear. Nice job. Okay, do we have any other comments there? Public comment at all? Okay, anything else, chief, you want to bring up? I think we're good. Everybody, if we don't see any of you, have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you for offering to step up to the PC, Ken. Looking forward to it. Okay, that's it. A motion to adjourn to be in order.
Motion to adjourn.
There's second.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're done. Thank you, everybody.